Facebook is saying video is starting, but it's also saying live. So just go double check.
Okay. It's always the way, it's so complicated.
Oh, tech is, yeah, not my
Yep.
forte. But anyway, we're here. So, hello everybody. It's Laura McGuinness from the Glasgow Girls Club here. I am so delighted to be joined by a very good friend of mine, author extraordinaire, and also now founder of the Glasgow Telly Festival, Claire Duffy. Way!
Oh.
I should have like a big klaxon that's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da
Oh,
when you
that would be
join.
good. Or maybe some like cheering sounds or something. I would
Yeah,
totally get on board with
way.
that.
So, thank you so much for joining us today, Claire. This
Thank
is
you.
a very, very exciting time for you. In fact, the past few months have been a really exciting time for you because you have created and developed the Glasgow Telly Festival, which is what we're on today to chat about. So, let's start from the beginning, Claire. Tell us a wee bit about you. Tell us where the idea came from. Tell us what it's all about.
Okay. So my background was in telly. I kind of started out. That's what I always wanted to do. My dream was to be a kind of a Shonda Rhimes and sort of run, which sort of write and produce my own TV. So I went to film school and then I worked as a kind of jobbing screenwriter with like different projects here and there for many years. And I had loads and loads of other jobs in different parts of production. I was a runner in Vancouver for a little while, just like sort of waving in people's cars into the edge. If you've ever seen like a film set, there's always like teenagers pretty much or early 20s in their high vis vests and they're waving in, like the big actors' cars and stuff. And that was me. I used to do that. And I worked in casting and I was an extra in Casualty once. And actually got, have you ever seen that episode of Friends where Joey is I think it's like something about a virus or something. So he's in a film and he keeps overacting so much that eventually they just have him be dead. You seen
Yeah.
that one where it's like this man is dying and he's like, "Argh." Anyway, that happened to me on Casualty. So I was overacting so much they were like, we think maybe you're unconscious for the next take, and I was like, excuse me. Anyway, so I've done loads and
There you
loads
go.
of like random bits and pieces, and it was that kind of classic thing where I was really lucky in some ways that I was working in the industry and I was kind of doing stuff and it was earning a little tiny bit of a living, but at the same time, it just felt like I kind of I don't know if it's like a glass ceiling or it just felt like I could only get so far. And then, when it came to actually getting one of my shows on TV, just everything just fell at the last hurdle. It was so frustrating. And I was living over in Stockholm at the time. And eventually, just out of a kind of it's just frustration, really. I sat down, I wrote one of my film scripts, which had been bought by so many different production companies and then eventually dropped by all of them. I wrote it as a book, but then I published it as a blog. I just did like daily chapters and kind of built things up that way, got more people reading it than I think had ever read any of my scripts in years, in all the years that I had been doing it. And that kind of led me into self-publishing, which I guess all that side of the story already, but that was so wonderful. And I still love all of those books. And I think the most frustrating thing about the film industry is doing the actual job is amazing. Like if it's in your blood, like working with actors and writing and just being on set. I mean, all of that is it's so much fun. It's fantastic. But the way that the industry works right now, you spend the vast majority of your time sitting at home by yourself, waiting for the phone call for the phone to ring, and that was just so frustrating. Feeling like I needed permission to do my job, and so self-publishing was incredible because I was like, what? I can just write stuff and then I can just put them up, and if someone wants to read them, great, and if they don't, that's fine too. So that was so exciting and freeing, and it gave me so much confidence. I think because I realized that people out there in the world did actually really enjoy the stories that I wanted to tell. Like sometimes you can't tell if you're just getting every script turned down, turned down, turned down.
Yeah.
So I did get the confidence of knowing that people were enjoying. Also, the first series was The Dark of Night, and then went on to The Shadow City, and then Chances Are. But also really taught me the lesson that people out there in the world, like like all of you guys that are not in the industry and that are just looking for something to watch or something to read, like you're so much more open-minded and sophisticated than I think the powers that be give you credit for. I've sat in so many meetings with producers or people from like the channels or streamers, and they're all like, "Oh no, the public won't get that. You have to make it simpler. You have to make it this. You have to water it down. You have to kind of like." And I'm always like, "No, I don't think you do." and my experience self-publishing really taught me that I was right that way. So for quite a few years, I've been starting to think about how could I apply those lessons to bring it back into film and TV, which is my true love. And also it needs something to change. I think self-publishing has actually really helped the publishing industry in some way because there's so many more readers that got in through, even things like 50 Shades of Grey and a Glasgow Kiss and books like that have brought new readers into the industry. And the film and TV industry is really, really struggling right now. And I don't actually think that people don't want to be told stories in a screen way. They're just not necessarily sitting down on a Thursday night at 9 o'clock the way that we did when we were younger. So the film and TV industry has been in crisis for a really long time. And I kind of finally realized, and as you know, I actually realized it at a GGC accountability meeting. Exactly. Do you know that it's a year exactly next Friday? So during the Glasgow Telly Festival will be the first anniversary of that accountability meeting where, so basically for anyone who doesn't know, Laura said, do a little bit of sort of blue sky brainstorming and don't just think about your 5 year plan or your 3 year plan. What's your like ultimate dream, like your thing when you get to the end of your life and you look back and you go, I did that. And I went, right, okay. And of course, at that point, I was a full-time author. I was putting everything into my books. And we all went away for whatever it was, 5 minutes to sit down. And I sat down and I genuinely thought that I would be writing best-selling novels and, taking over, going to, I don't know, bloody Scotland or any of the big Edinburgh Book Festival or all these big. And I just caught myself writing a production studio that is, making all of this really exciting new work, Scottish work, supporting writers in the way that I wasn't supported earlier in my career. That's getting really like weird and wonderful and exciting projects out there and actually really fixing the film industry. And I wrote all that down and went, I've got to do this now.
Yes.
So basically, that was a
Yes.
very long way of telling you the Glasgow Telly Festival is all your fault.
Yes. Oh, do you know? But honestly, like the minute you said it, I think all the other business members were just like, yeah, we can really feel this for you. Like your
Mm-hmm.
energy has shifted around it. And obviously, we know each other really well. So I know how much hard work you've put into this Telly Festival, which is happening next weekend. And we're going to get on to that. But things have just been coming to you. They haven't really, like, wait till you hear about the stars that have been working with Claire. Like, it's
Oh,
just, it's
mm-hmm.
right. You can tell when you're on the right path. When although you're working hard, things are coming to you. It's as though it's like, yes, this is what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to
Oh,
have this Telly
absolutely.
Festival.
And this has really had that energy pretty much from that meeting because
Yeah.
I felt it. We all felt it, I think, in the room that day. And then even like over summer, like I started just sort of thinking then a bit more deeply as to okay, how will it actually work and how would I start and from where I am now and what are the next steps and so on. And it was just amazing the amount of like contacts and advice and support that kind of fell into my lap. Like obviously I did go out, it was putting a lot of effort into it as well. But there's been so many just synchronicities where I'm like, if I had sent that email 2 days earlier, that person wouldn't have got it. And instead they did. So there has been a total like, even down to the point, I was just saying this in our team meeting this morning, this weather has been wonderful,
Yeah.
but not for ticket sales. And so for weeks now, I've been going, oh, just a wee bit of rain, just a wee bit of rain to like, so that people aren't wanting to, go out and be in their gardens next weekend. It honestly looks like it's going to rain from tonight until the end of the festival. And I'm like, thank you. That whoever that was, thank you so much.
Because you're providing some amazing events next weekend that people don't have to be outdoors for. They can be
Exactly.
indoors
Well,
for.
exactly. And I thought, oh, if it's so beautiful, then of course, and I understand that. I would want to be outside as well. But it's a really perfect rainy day activities, I think. Because I do think it'll be a big part of that original idea and what has sort of just grown and kind of continued become more and more like the deeper I've kind of got into the planning of it. It really is a festival for the people. And I do think
Yes.
there are so many, film festivals that are, they're fantastic. They are what they are. But they are very insular to the industry. They're basically markets. So they're networking and it's people who are already in the industry that come along and they all talk to each other. And that's fine. The Glasgow Telly Festival is very different. The Glasgow Telly Festival is actually for the audience. So what we really want to do, we've got, I think it's 62 or 3 brand new, like possible TV series ideas in different forms that we're basically going to be pitching directly to the Glasgow audience. We want you to watch them. We want you to get involved. And if there's anything that makes you go, oh, I would watch that. I'm interested in that character. I want to know more. We have an app where you'll be able to go on, and it's very simple. I keep calling it, it's like Tinder, Telly Tinder.
Oh
But all you need to do
yeah.
is be like, yes, no, that's great.
That's
Now, the
swiping.
exactly. Start swiping on because I think so many people, we all sort of look around and like, oh, there's nothing I want to watch, or there's nothing that feels like it really resonates as an authentic Scottish story, for example. So this is your chance to watch a whole bunch, to see what's out there, to see how much talent and how many ideas and stories are out there amongst Glasgow talent. And then you can say, I would watch that. And that's all it is. And then after that, I'll be able to sort of look at all of that, and the ones that I think no doubt there'll be a few real standouts, and it might be loads of them, it might be just a couple, like we don't know yet. Then we'll be able to start working with those filmmakers to start giving those projects a future and start getting them towards being on your telly. So the first step is watching the pilots and letting us know that you want to see more of them.
So exciting. You're giving a voice to the people, aren't you? So you're very much so giving the public the opportunity to, and I don't think I mean, this is very unique. This idea of being able to
Mm-hmm.
vote for something that you would watch and then it actually potentially then gets commissioned and goes into production.
Well, exactly. And and the funny thing is, it's such like it seems so obvious. The minute I thought of it, I was like, this must be a thing. This must be. And it's true that obviously some streamers they do market research and stuff like that. But I think the thing with like traditional market research, it works definitely for businesses, but for audiences, you don't really like once you're like consciously thinking of answers to questions, you're kind of starting to, oh dear, what should I say about this? Or you feel pressure or things like that. Whereas really all we need to know as filmmakers is if you were flicking around the telly and you came across this series, would you go, I'll watch that? You know what I mean? That's it needs to be as simple as that. And I don't know why nobody else is doing it. It seems I keep looking for it to be like, I can't be the only person who's thought of that. But I think in some ways maybe I've got quite a kind of unique experience in that I've got this background in production and TV. So I know how the industry works. I know how telly works that way. But then I think with the self-publishing, I know that I know like, there's loads of authors. I never did too much of it, but there's loads of authors that will send out a short story to their newsletter and say, do
Yeah.
you like this character? Should I write a novel? And the newsletter
Okay.
will go, yeah. And if you do, we'll buy it. And it's like it's such a straightforward, simple kind of thing. And so many massive production companies and studios and channels and streamers spend millions trying to guess what audiences might watch. And I'm just like, I can ask them for free, pretty much.
Yeah, and I feel as though, and I know this is maybe my understanding, I know we've maybe touched upon it in conversations as well. Sometimes the new emerging talent don't really get a look in because it
Mm-hmm.
seems to be that, and you can understand if like a big production company's got a budget and then they want to work with a writer who's tried and tested, who's maybe done
Mm-hmm.
something amazing. But in doing that, you're not giving the fresh emerging talent coming out a chance to shine. And some of the kind of indie stuff or some of the stuff that's like because I think we spoke about the fact that adolescence was
Mm-hmm.
completely new
Mm-hmm.
writers, new like it's it gives this fresh edge and it actually keeps things really interesting. But how do people get that
Mm-hmm.
foot in the door or that commission when people are focusing on the tried and tested people who are also amazing, but there has to be
Absolutely.
room for everyone, doesn't there?
Well, exactly. And there's actually, it's even worse in some ways because it's not only tried and tested people, but it's tried and tested ideas. I've spoken to some
Yes.
really, really established writers and directors who are like, I can't get stuff away right now. And I always call it, it's like a sort of vortex of risk averseness because they become so risk averse that they're, as you say, they're not commissioning new talent, they're not commissioning exciting ideas. And even the somewhat exciting ideas they're watering them down because they're like worried, oh, but we don't make it to this, don't make it to that. Someone told me recently that I won't say too many details, but there was a Scottish production that was really successful here, and so they wanted to then put it on network. So that kind of goes from like BBC Scotland to like the full BBC. And the note came back: could you make it a bit less Ouija? Could you tone down? And they were all like, no.
It's not
And not
authentic
only
then,
like
that's the thing.
it's so bad because it's not even
Yeah.
like no in principle, but it's also how many people read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and were fascinated with all that really detail about life in Sweden and specifically
Loved it.
Stockholm? That's what we loved about it. That's what we
Yeah,
love about The Wire. Like learning
yeah,
about Baltimore. Who knew anything about Baltimore before The Wire
yep,
came along? Or, New Orleans, or like there's so many incredible places. And there is, I mean, there's a lot of obviously like cultural and political aspects to that lack of confidence about just going for it in terms of Scottishness as well.
yeah.
But the really think that the most frustrating thing is I'm like, you're not serving audiences properly by not giving them a proper
No, it's
sense of
wishy-washy then, isn't it? Because then they're like,
play.
if you're trying to depict, like, because everyone is so different from each other, and that's the magic of the world. But
Mm,
like Glaswegians in particular, or people that live in Glasgow, we've got our culture,
yeah.
and it's
Mm,
really like we speak a different, we not speak a different language, but we've got our own
a little
sayings
bit.
and everything like that. And when you water it
Exactly.
down, people might not believe in it as much as you say if you're watching the girl, you're reading the girl with the dragon tattoo, and then you're like, I want to go and have those sandwiches. I want to be sitting.
Yep.
You really get an idea of the community and the culture. But if people are saying make it less Ouija, then you're
Mm-hmm.
stripping back some of what makes Glasgow what it is. And what I love about the Glasgow Telefest, as you said, Glasgow was invented in TV was
Yes.
invented in Glasgow, and you're bringing it home.
Yes, exactly. And that's that. Like, and Scotland is so famous for, I mean, so much innovation and invention. And so the idea that we're really, because in a lot of ways, what we're doing is inventing a whole new medium. The 1 minute pilots, is the beginning of eventually there's going to be film, TV, and then digital short form drama. We'll come up with a pithier name by then. But it's a different type of storytelling. And it really is being invented as we speak by filmmakers all around Scotland who are making up their 1 minute pilots, which is so exciting. Because, yeah, John Logie Baird, I mean, he was from Helensburgh, which is technically not quite Glasgow, but close to it. And he went to Glasgow Uni. And that is why when he did, so he was actually down south for the first television broadcast, but it was broadcast back to the Grand Central Hotel in Central Station, which is where we did our press launch, which is quite
Yeah.
cool to be like, TV started here, and now it's kind of starting again, I think, in some ways, because there's so many exciting things that we're going to be able to do by working in this new way. And I knew that the best way to do it was by, I don't know why my iPad does this mad dramatic thing. And it's because I think I
Yeah.
talk with my hands so much.
I feel
And
like I'm watching a movie right now
it's
because your
so fun.
camera is moving as you move.
The amount of times I have been on it, like, pitching to like some fancy agent in London or LA or something like that. And it's just a bit like, here's my books.
You've got some incredible stories of pitching to celebrities, actors, agents, directors. And I really would urge people that are watching this to go onto your
Oh.
TikTok, because you tell a lot of the stories, a lot of really funny stories that have
Mm-hmm.
happened to you as you've been tirelessly pitching and getting amazing people involved in this. So like, is it at Glasgow Telly Festival on TikTok and Instagram?
Glasgow Telly Fest, I
Glasgow
think,
Telly
on
Fest.
TikTok and
Yes.
Instagram. And yeah, it's been so much fun. And I think a part of what's made it so much fun is I was like, nobody knows what a Glasgow Telly Festival is. So I kind of had this like weird freedom that in some ways I'm not ever going to have again now. And so I think I've told you before, I called it Project Cheek. I was like, look, I know if I really want to launch this new, not even a festival, but like this new way of working, I needed to do it at scale because I knew that if I did that 1 week project, it would just get swallowed up and you wouldn't really have the impact. So I thought, what's the impact? We'll actually give it the impact. And that was actually through, I had a session with Heather Offord, who's another GGC member. And
Clarity
as
Consultants.
yeah,
Shout out to
she's
Heather.
absolutely brilliant. We sat, it was just before Christmas. It was the last thing I did before Christmas, actually. It was right before the Christmas holidays. And I was like trying to work out a strategy for how we could launch this thing. And I just said in passing, I was wondering about some kind of festival type thing. And she went, yes, do a festival.
Yes.
And so I kind of went, oh, right, okay. And so we brainstormed a little bit. And then I then that very usefully in some ways, I then got the flu, missed Christmas, couldn't go down to my parents, couldn't see anybody. But actually, like 10 days enforced lying on my couch coughing, the whole thing kind of just fell into my brain. And I went, right, okay, the thing I need to do is I need to get the industry behind me. I know that this will change the industry for all creatives who are incredibly frustrated right now. So I know, I think that was a part of what gave me quite a lot of confidence, because I was like, I am actually offering you something that's going to help you as well. And so I operated on absolute pure cheek. The DMs I have slid into of like every famous Scottish actor or writer or director, even some musicians, because I was just like, just anybody that's like, I could possibly get excited about this. I went for it. And Claire's been so funny, and Claire Bailey is also a GC member who's been working with me. And sometimes she's been like, she'll screen grab an email that's come back and been like, oh my God, you've just got a reply from so and so. It's been so much fun.
But this has been a classic case as well of you don't ask, you don't get, and
Exactly.
you're almost just like brass necking it about. You're like, do you know what? Let's just ask
Mm-hmm.
everybody. But you have had so many big players in the industry, from actors to direct, like getting involved. Can you name drop some of the
Oh,
biggies, like some of the people that
totally.
will talk about who they might meet at your events coming up, but
That's
who's
true.
got
Yeah.
behind it?
Oh my goodness. So I say just so many people. It's been incredible. And you're right, it has been just a total, because I do think in the industry we're really bad at, sometimes you're like, oh, it's a wee project, I shouldn't go. And I'm like, you drive yourself nuts. Just ask, and the person will say yes or no. And if they say no, that's fine. And there's a few that have been like, oh, he's too busy or she's too busy. And I'm like, not a bother. But yeah, so actually the very first DM slide was the wonderful Joe McFadden, who I have been such a fan of since
Yeah,
the Crow Road. I love
yeah.
doing the Crow Road. And I saw a few other things that he's been in over the years. And I just think he's so talented. And he seems like a really nice person. And so I went to Instagram and I slid into his DMs and I said, hi, I'm trying to pull off this really big thing. Is there any chance that you would give me like 20 minutes on Zoom and I can tell you about it? And he just went, yeah, okay. And then like a couple of days later, there we are Zooming. And I'm going, oh my goodness. Now, to be fair, I've worked in the industry a long time. I have met a lot of, quite famous actors. I worked in casting for a long time, but there was something about like some really sort of specific my heroes and Scottish people. Because then the next person was Dawn Steele, who's also slid into her DMs on Instagram. Same thing. Got to Zoom with her. Both of them are like the loveliest people in the world. I'm like, honestly, I had to sort of hold back asking if we could just be best friends. I'm like, forget the festival. Can we just the three of us just go out sometime? But yeah, so they were both incredible. They're both in 1 minute pilots. Joe is also coming up from London for the festival and is going to take part in our live event, which is going to close out the festival on the Sunday, which is
Nice.
super exciting. Oh my goodness, who was next? Oh, Colin McCready from Taggart. I knew him already because he'd done a rehearsed reading for me a couple of years ago. So I got him involved, and then he introduced me to Blythe Duff, who is also amazing. And that's another thing people have been so incredibly generous about. So and then also so Sanjeev Colley from Still Game, who we did a 1 minute pilot shoot outside the High Court. So his character was coming out having given um, what's the word I want? Evidence at High Court. And there was a reporter kind of accosting him. So we were down there, honest to goodness, Laura, I thought he was going to get mobbed. And I was like, this is my responsibility. Well, I have to like protect him. There
Oh,
was so many people coming out of court, walking past, Naveed, Naveed. And he's so lovely. He was just like, yeah, all right. Like I had to stop filming a few times because people were shouting Naveed in
oh
the
man,
background.
love
And it was
it.
just so bonkers and so fantastic. But amazingly, he actually enjoyed that so much that he then said, can I write one? And well, I'll be in it as well. And I went, yeah, all right then. So then we shot that. The one that he wrote with Colin was the other actor in it at my friend's flat with his mum and dad sitting there going, I can't believe Naveed is in my flat. It was
Oh,
such a laugh.
brilliant.
It's been brilliant. So then he also he reached out to Jay McCarry, of course, Isa from Still Game, who's
Yeah,
also so lovely. So
yeah,
all of them are going to be part of our opening event. I had this idea to make it like the most iconic Glasgow series, which is Taggart and Still Game. Like
yep,
just
yep.
there. So they are all going to do a panel event. So it is Colin, Sanjeev, Jane, Michael Hines, who directed Still Game and also like Chewing the Fat and loads of other things. He's a brilliant director. He's been so incredibly supportive on all of this. They're going to be in conversation with Laura Boyd from STV,
Yes, love
and
it.
So they're going to be talking a little bit about their experiences in the Scottish industry, but also I'm quite excited about this. So we've got these 57 1 minute pilots that have been made by established talent, as say Dawn, Joran, and then they're all in them actually. And there's students, there's people, everybody in between, and they're so exciting. So I'm actually literally this afternoon going to send them all a short list of sort of 10 pilots each. So they will get to choose their pick of the pilots. So they will actually be presenting their favourites of the pilots that they got to watch. So it's quite a nice little thing where
Lovely event.
I
And
think
this
it'll be
that
great.
you so member like anyone watching this and members of the public can go along and just be in the audience and listen to them chatting and get involved in the chat.
Exactly. Yeah, they can ask them questions as well, and also they'll be able to also download the app. And if they agree with, if they want to go with Jane's favorite pilot, they can also vote for it as well. Or if they don't agree, they can. It's completely up to them. There's only a tiny handful. It's honestly something like 6 tickets left for that. So if you want
Oh,
to come along to that, really hurry and get them this afternoon, I would say.
I'm going to put the link to the pick of the pilots in the comments. Pilots. That sounds like a amazing
So good.
event.
Oh, and if all of that wasn't exciting enough, there's also a lovely like welcome glass of fizz so we can toast the festival that night as well. So free booze as well, and that's courtesy of our amazing sponsors, Base Hospitality, who've been just incredible at supporting all of this.
Yes, we love base hospitality. Okay, so that is next Thursday.
Yep.
Then what's happening next week that everybody can get involved in? Because this is very much so for the members of the public, this festival, as well as getting industry involved. But you're
Mm.
wanting to get
Oh yeah, it's much
Glasgow,
more about the
anyone
public.
visiting, come along and get involved in this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's for the creators of the industry, but I think in a lot of ways, now that we've done the work, it's very much all about the audience. So the next sort of event will be on the Saturday at 12 o'clock. We're doing a screening of this fantastic project I'm really excited about. It's called Concrete Jungle, and it's been written by Anton O'Donnell, who is an ex-Glasgow bouncer, and he wrote it all about his own experiences. So it's quite gritty. It's a little bit kind of gangland. But it's so authentic, and it's so kind of like a real story of Glasgow. And he tried to shopped it around to every single one of the production companies and all of the networks, and nobody would give him a shot because he's not in with the in crowd in the industry. So he just went, right, forget it, I will just do it myself then. So he self-funded, raised the money to do it, shot it all himself over like a year, I think. And then once it was done, STV have put it on their player, which is great of them. And it's been in the top 10 for, I think it's been 10 weeks now, 10, 11 weeks. So it's a huge success story of just showing what you can do when you just decide, I'm just going to do it. See what happens. What's the worst that can happen? So we're going to do a screening of that. And even more excitingly, Anton is going to be there, and also Jonathan Tate from STV. So they are going to be talking about the experience, talking about like how we can get some more really independent and authentic projects onto the screen in Scotland. They will be taking audience questions. So that's definitely, I think, for anyone in the general public, but in particular, like if there's anyone who's interested in getting into the industry, film
Mm,
students or even higher
nice.
students that are like thinking about it for next year, you definitely would want to come along and talk to Anton and Jonathan.
Very good. I like the sound of that. I've popped the link to get tickets in the comments for Concrete Jungle as well. Okay, so you've also got quite a lot of pilots being shown around Glasgow in different kind of venues that people can go and watch and then get the app and vote on, don't you as
Yes.
well? So these aren't
Yeah,
ticketed
so I'm
events, these are just you can go to the venues and get involved.
exactly. And I'm really excited about that because, again, I think sometimes, we've kept all of the tickets as cheap as they possibly can be. But I really want it to be accessible to anybody who, even if they can't sort of, pay anything for a ticket.
Yep.
And it's also, I think it's just, also wanted to kind of get to people who might not just have it on their radar to go along to a telly event. They might just not think it's for them, even though I do. So, yeah, so they're going to be, the pilots are going to be broadcast in loads of, I think we've got about 15 or something pubs signed up all over the city. And they're just pretty much going to be, most of them are going to be just kind of on in the background, like the sports is normally, you sort of walk in and there's some random show jumping or something, it will be our pilots instead. There'll be QR codes everywhere around. So if you see one that catches your eye, you can scan the QR code and then go in and vote for it. And then once you're in, you can sort of vote for all of them and watch the rest of them as well. So
That,
I think
love
that's
that.
going to be just really, really good fun because it'll just be, and if anyone wants to go along and put together a little viewing party, go down with some pals, you can sit there. They'll just be playing on repeat. So you can kind of go whenever you want. And that's actually going to be from the Thursday. So Thursday night, Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. You'll be able to see them all over Glasgow. A couple a little bit outside. The Gatehouse actually in Kirkintilloch, we just signed up. So that'll be great. And I'll maybe add a comment afterwards of all the places that are confirmed already, and we're probably going to add more next week as well.
Very good. Very, very good. I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do like a wee viewing party and get some people together and go and vote. Is there any way, Claire, just in case people can't get out and about to see the screenings on the Saturday or the Thursday, the Friday, will you have them on like a YouTube channel type thing that we can share into
Yes,
the group
yes,
or
yes, I will do. So they'll all be our YouTube channel. In theory, I'm going to launch that this afternoon. It might be Monday now. We shall see what happens. It's all very technical. But yes, definitely before the festival, our YouTube channel. And actually, that'll be a great one just to sort of tune into whether you can make events or not, because there'll be loads of behind the scenes content, loads of the actors being interviewed,
nice?
and just everything that's kind of gone into sort of making the event together. But yeah, all of the pilots will be there. There'll also be I think it'll be towards the end of next week that we'll have the confirmed like the link for the app. But we can also just share the app because you could also just go in there and start voting without having seen them in the pubs either way.
Oh, cool. So do you get to watch them on the app?
Yeah. Yeah, yes, you can watch them and then vote.
Right, well,
And there's
perfect.
also it says, I think it's something like anything to add. So if you wanted to say anything about it, you absolutely could, but don't feel any pressure. Just saying yes or no is absolutely plenty. So that will be going on. Oh, and also Arcades are doing a brilliant event. It's a viewing party, so they're getting loads of people together on the Saturday night to just sort of watch, and then they'll be able to kind of discuss them in between and all sorts of things. I think I'm going to try and drop in on that one if I can.
That is so exciting. Do you know what? It's just so exciting because it's like citywide. It's looking at like like what we could be seeing on our TV potentially in the coming months, years, and getting to have your say. And yeah, there's a real buzz. Like I'm so excited about it. And talk to us about the big event in Bad on the Sunday
Yes.
then.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. And it's in some ways it's a funny thing because it's really difficult to explain in some ways because it is a really unique event. But I really, really want to try and get it across as much as possible because it's so exciting. So it's kind of based on an open mic night. And I was calling it the open mic night for a while. And then I actually got a really I don't think he'll mind me saying I got quite a panicked voice note from Joe McFadden saying, I'm not going to have to just make stuff up, am I? So of course I replied going, yeah, I want you just to do a party piece. Just get up and do a song. But no,
Bless.
so it's kind of inspired by a one open mic event. I think you maybe heard before the analogy that I've been kind of using for what I'm trying to do here is the way that the industry works right now, the way that we like acquire new TV. It's a little bit like if bands never got the opportunity to play live to audiences ever until or unless they were booked to headline Transmit. So you kind of go from nothing to millions of pounds riding on you. So that kind
Yep.
of goes back to what we were talking about before with all this risk averseness. So when I looked at that, I was like, what we need to create, like what I'm really trying to do is creating the like plain manky pubs and student unions level for film and TV, where anybody can just kind of like grab a guitar, try out some new stuff, find out if audiences connect. So because of that, I keep on telling people that I should have called this Telly in the Park because really I'm just trying to build my own tea in the park. So
Yes, please do.
exactly. So yeah, just for test. So I keep on saying to people, and they're like, "What are you talking about, Claire?" And I'm like, "Oh, it makes sense in my head." So because of that, we're using the kind of format of an open mic night. So we built the whole thing. So it's going to be at Bad, which is so exciting. It's the most gorgeous venue, and right in the middle of the Barras. It couldn't be more iconic Glasgow. So what happened was less than a week ago. I put together teams. I've got brand new, well, not brand new, but sort of emerging writers, and then slightly more experienced directors, but still kind of like on their way up. with some incredibly established and talented actors. Put them all in teams. None of them had any control over who they were going to work with. And so none of the writers could plan anything because they didn't know what the actors were they would have to write for. I emailed them all. I said, here's your team. Now you're tasked, the four of you, with coming up with a scene that could be the beginning of it's another pilot, basically. So it could be the beginning of another bigger, could be a film maybe, or a series, or and it was the most exciting thing because I sent all the emails out and I then got this like just flurry of text from all the writers going, oh my God, I'm going to write for so and so. And I'd be like, yes, yes, you are. So all
That
of
is
this
so
week,
exciting.
they've been all like meeting on Zoom and they've been sharing ideas and brainstorming. And the actors have been saying, I'd really like to play a character like this. I've never got cast as that. And so the writers have kind of like taken all that on board. And I think today most of them are doing their first proper read through. So it is brand new work that literally these scenes will be a week old when you get to see them live at Bad on the Sunday afternoon, which is just, oh, it's fantastic. We've got these great directors who've all been kind of stepping in. Two of them, actually, one's French and one's Swedish. So they're not even going to get to come to Scotland at all, but they just stepped in and became a part of it. And that's like the way that they've worked, I think, is really how we should all be working. That really collaborative, moving fast, super creative. I mean, I've read a couple of the scripts already and like they're amazing. They are so, so good. And I think it's that like really lively sort of process that has added to that, has made it something really special. So on Sunday at Bad, these 6 scenes will all be performed live on stage in front of you. But because it's also new, the actors will have the scripts in their hand, they'll be in their own clothes. You'll really feel, I think, like you're getting to see behind the scenes of telly in progress, which is what you are. They're also going to be filmed live. They're going to be directed by Michael Hines, who is the incredible director of Still Game. And I always mention those two. He does Strictly Come Dancing. He does loads and loads of things. He's actually going to be directing live, so sort of cutting cameras. So it really will feel like you're getting to sort of step into watching TV in progress. And it's also that's going to be broadcast live to YouTube. So if you're not able to come along too bad at 2 o'clock on the Sunday, you can also tune in and watch the whole thing. It's going to be hosted by Carol Smiley, who is just incredible. So she'll be bringing on each of the teams and then talking to them afterwards. If the audience, have questions for them, they're not sure about this character or have you thought about that, can have a little bit of a discussion, and then again the audience can do their yes or no in the app. And then in
Love
addition to
it.
that, we'll also be screening the kind of sort of top 10 highlight 1 minute pilots, in which you can also vote for as well. So you'll get to see, I think, about 12 or 15 brand new potential TV series at Bad. The bar will be open, we can have a drink, it'll be very chilled out, very, very good fun. And that it's going to be very sparkly and very exciting as well. And yeah, so that's going to be great. Tickets are actually starting to move really fast for that one as well. So I would definitely jump on that quickly. Bad is very big, which was terrifying me for a little while, but we're kicking the gas now. So I would definitely jump on that quite quickly if you want to come along, or tune in on YouTube as well.
It's going to be a real buzz. It's going to be a buzzy atmosphere because your energy into this festival has been very electric, very exciting. You can just tell that all the events, regardless of whether somebody's like, right, I'm bought in, I'm going to all of them, or they pick to go to one, two, however it may look for people, it's going to be exciting. You're going to feel like you're part of something. You're at the start of something that is going to potentially lead the way when it comes to some of the amazing things that you get to watch on TV. I think it's real credit to you, Claire,
Oh,
because
thank you.
this is massive, and I know how much work and how much, how much has gone into this blood, sweat, and tears.
Absolutely. I mean, quite literally blood. Remember? Oh my goodness, I've not told you what happened after. That is actually, it is quite.
What happened? Like, what happened?
Oh my goodness. So this is actually, it's a really good story about, so I was going to jump in with loads of other things, but I'm just going to say literal blood. So as Laura knows, we were at Meaty Friday, was it 2 months ago now?
Yeah.
And I had just given my sort of update with what's going on, and I was high as a kite. I think I just spoke to Blythe Duff that morning, who, I mean, I grew up watching Taggart, so I was just like, and
Yeah.
she's so lovely, and was just like, "This sounds amazing. How can I help? What can I do?" And I was like, "Are you really well?" So I was high as a kite. I told everybody, all about it. And then I think when I got to the end, I was like, I'm just going to run to the toilet really quickly, and I'll run because I don't want to miss anyone. So I shot out of the little bit where we were sitting, smashed directly
Oh,
into a coat rail, really heavy coat rail. But the thing is, it was so camouflaged, I still didn't see
okay.
it. I
Yep.
was like, I don't know. Honestly, I thought my face just exploded. I had no idea what was going. You were all like, "Oh my god, Claire, you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." I didn't even know what happened. Within seconds, my lip started to blow up like a balloon. It was so bruised. It was awful. And then my parents were coming to visit that evening, and I had to go and meet them.
Yep.
They were a bit like, "Are you sure you should be living in Glasgow, Claire?" I'm like, "I'm fine." So the next day, so you were saying how cheeky I have been with just that. I've just been like, I've gone after everyone in the Scottish industry. And there's loads of people, some of them kind of got back and said, "I'm really sorry, I'm filming, but really good luck and get in touch again." There's been a couple that I've just not managed to get a response from, like no matter what I did. And I've been calling them like my white whales. And it's fine. I'll meet them some other time. It's not a problem.
Okay.
However, the next day, so we say this really carefully, so I'm trying not to give away who it is, just because it's not fair, because he didn't consent to being part of this. I was at, let's just say, a certain football game. My little nephews were being the mascots, so my whole family, that's where they came up. They were all the mascots.
Okay.
As we were sitting there watching, so my nephews ran off the pitch, and I looked down and I saw one of the actors who is like my. I won't again what say. You can probably guess. Very big Glasgow star, lovely, lovely guy. I'd like it even more lovely if you'd reply to any of my messages, but whatever. So I saw him there, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the universe. I have to meet him. I have to talk to him." I was like, "I've been stalking him for ages and ages." My mother goes, "Claire, I think he's married." I'm like, "Not for that reason, Mom." So after the game, I was like, I was on a mission, and I kind of knew the bar where he might possibly be, and I had a pass for that bar. So I grabbed my sister-in-law, who's a really good wing woman, and we ran down and we got to the bar, and we sailed up. And you know when you're like 15 and you're at a party with like a guy you fancy, and you just sort of like hover in
Yeah.
his general vicinity. This was me. We were both quite drunk by this point. And I'm just like sidling, because I also didn't want to just go and interrupt him with his pals. He was talking to people, but I was like, I'm going to wait for opportunity, wait for opportunity.
You're doing
We
the wee side shuffle.
basically, yeah, we both had a drink, and the two of us are just like this, in the middle of this like bar full of like football guys. Then finally, one of his friends got up, and I thought, here's my moment. So I start to go in, and right before I got to him, I'm like a meter away. I luckily saw I saw my reflection in the window behind him. And I remembered I had a lip like this, and I couldn't even speak. It was so painful. I was slurring. And I
Oh,
just had this moment
Claire.
of, no, 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 I'm going to leave this for a man alone. So that was the. It turns out I do have a line I won't cross when it comes to like cheekily trying to get the Scottish industry involved. And that is it. That's my line.
That's your line. When you look like you could have been punched in the mouth,
Exactly.
and
Can you
you're like,
imagine? Hello, are you being my first? Like I couldn't, honestly, I can't even put it on. I was literally slurring and like dribbling.
oh.
Sometimes it was so painful. So it's good to know we all have a limit. And my limit is, yeah, not dribbling on famous actors as I ask them to be in my festival.
Well, yeah, you never know what's going to happen in the future. You
That
never
is
know what's
true.
going to,
And if I
and I,
ever do get him in, I'll be like, just so you know, this could have been so much worse.
yeah, like
I'll
you,
tell you what
yes.
I saved you, and so now I think you owe me. I saved you from speaking to me that day, so now you
And
owe me being my festival.
And do you know the beauty of it as well? Like, I feel as though anyone who you've perhaps not been able to get in touch with or maybe hasn't made it for this time, I feel as though they're going to see these events on social. They're going to see like the public coming out and supporting and getting involved. And then they're going to be like that, right, next time I want to get involved. So are you
Mm-hmm.
thinking this might be a yearly festival, Claire?
Well, actually, I think it's going to be more than that. I was thinking initially about possibly a yearly festival, but then I do think it's really important to keep this momentum going because a
Yep.
really big part of what I feel that we have already created with this is this kind of community of creatives just thinking of ideas, grabbing an actor pal, making stuff happen, and then also audience realizing that there's stuff coming out all the time. And there's already women at pilots that we just ran out of time to do. There's people who are like, I
Same.
would love to, but so that's when I thought we're not, I'm really seeing this festival this weekend as a starting gun. So it's actually going to be a kind of a rolling program. There'll be various live events. There'll be 1 minute pilots coming out. There is going to be already in autumn a series of rehearse reads of full, like sort of hour long scripts, which will be really
Nice.
exciting. And we're going to do some industry events. But yes, so in some ways, this is just sort of a beginning. Whether we do another big festival next year, I'm not sure yet. It might just be that we kind of we keep the party going,
Happens.
basically.
Yeah. Keep the party going. That's it.
Pretty
Exactly.
much. So we were
Um,
going from pretending that we're at Tea in the Park to we're now a band on tour, and we're just gonna just keep on just keeping at it. Here we go. It's
that's
working. My analogies are great.
Oh, I love it. Well, that's why you are a writer, author, screenwriter, you're all of these lovely things. So you're good with words. Let's say, let's say.
Hope so.
Okay,
And I
so
definitely have a lot of words. I don't stop once I start.
oh, but that's what we love about you, Claire. So you've also got a 2-for-1 deal on the Sunday event, don't you?
Yes, I've got them on and on the Concrete Jungle one as well. That
Okay.
those are just on until this Sunday.
This
So if you want to
Sunday.
take
Okay.
advantage of those, just grab today. I think it will. I think it includes that Sunday as well. If you don't get around to it till Sunday, but if you do,
Okay.
if you really want them, I would definitely try today or tomorrow.
Perfect. Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, so I feel like we could talk more, but I think what we should do is if you can send me the YouTube link whenever that may be live, the link to
Mm-hmm.
the app whenever that may be live, I think we'll keep the comments going. Bless Claire Bailey. She has been putting in the comments all the links as well. So they're double we're doubling up in the links, ladies, if
Really
anyone's
love it. Thank you,
looking
Claire.
to get love it. And we've got a Sherry saying TV is coming home.
Yes, it
So
is.
yeah, if anybody's watching this in the replay, ladies, we would greatly appreciate a wee comment because it pushes the video up. It helps get the word out there. And I think next weekend is just going to be a great time for anyone in Glasgow to just get out and about, meet industry folk, get to understand what goes on behind TV, making a wee bit more, and actually have your say on things that, I
Mm-hmm.
do want to watch that. I do want to give emerging talent the opportunity, as well as obviously established Scottish actors,
Mm-hmm.
to get the opportunity to be in new things.
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, I mean, I think if you're somebody who's ever sat at home and gone, oh, there's nothing on telly, there's rubbish on telly, it's never what I want to watch, well, this is your chance. Come along and tell us what you want. And also, I've got it's an exclusive announcement because we've not told anyone else yet.
Oh.
Just last night, I got in a 1 minute pilot from Elaine C. Smith. So she's now being added to the incredible array of Glasgow talent that will be in the 1 minute pilot. So if you go along to a pub or you watch them in the app, you will get to see. I mean, it's pretty much just a who's who of Glasgow talent at this point, which
It
is so
really is.
exciting.
I mean, Elaine C. Smith is an I like, and all these actors that you've mentioned are iconic, like
Mm-hmm.
actors in Scotland. But when you think of like Elaine C. Smith, you
Oh
just
yeah.
think she's almost like Queen Bee, isn't
Oh,
she?
totally. And you know what as well? She is so busy right now. She's crazy busy. And she just it was a friend of hers wrote the script, sent it over to her, and she said, right, I've got 10 minutes, I'll do it on my phone right now. Boom, boom, boom. And it's so cool.
Oh, I love it. I love the opportunity to be able to see people like that doing something so raw without
Exactly. Yeah.
being completely like all furnished up to be amazing, which we do love to watch, obviously, when it's all edited and everything. But actually, just that raw realness of it, I think,
Mm-hmm.
is also just going to be so cool to be able to see and be a part of.
Oh,
I
totally.
cannot wait. Like the
Me
GGC
either.
support you so much, as you know. Next
Mm-hmm.
weekend is going to be, we're going to be out and about, we're going to be getting involved. We're hopefully going to see lots of this community coming along, the community at Glasgow. Like it's just going to be brilliant. It's going to be good vibes. And Claire,
So,
kudos to you for pulling this off because I'm so proud of you. It's
thank
massive.
you.
It's
It's
massive.
bonkers. It's completely crazy. And I mean, yeah, it's such a classic, but like I could not have done it without the incredible support of the GGC. It wouldn't be happening at all. It's all your fault. And so many people who've come and out and supported. It is a little bit of that, field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. And that's such. I think that's such an important thing. If there's anybody watching, whether they can come along next weekend or not, if you're thinking about trying to pull something really big off, honestly, my advice would be like just do it. Just tell people you're doing it and do it, and it just starts happening. It might not even the first time you try, but just keep saying, "I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this." Reach out to the people and make it happen, because God, if I can do this, anybody can.
Oh, I love it. You are a total inspiration. So I do hope that there's lots of members watching this thinking, whatever it may be, whatever that goal
Mm-hmm.
is, just go for it and see
Absolutely.
what happens. And it might lead you on another tangent which you hadn't even expected. So
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Okay, well, Claire, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. This has been amazing, and I'm so excited for you. And let's just keep putting stuff in the group and hopefully seeing some of our members along next week or you getting their feedback on the app as well. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Not at all. Thank you. And looking forward to seeing everybody next week.
See you later.
Bye.